time for us to talk about your money and when it's time to spend and when it's time to save, because half the people in Texas have almost no rainy day fund or backup plan. Joining me now is Don Baylor. He's a senior policy analyst at the Center for Public Policy Priorities to talk to us about the importance of savings accounts. Thank you so much for being with us. This is not just a problem in Texas, but across the country. But what is the root of the problem?
Well, I think the root of the problem, obviously, it's important for individuals and families to have a good, stable source of income. That's really kind of the building blocks for savings. Certainly, one of the things that we look at is incentives and making sure that there are the right incentives for individuals and families to save. And obviously, right now, with a very low interest rate on your savings, there's quite not that incentive. But one of the things that we want to do is build public policy to incentivize savings, but also create a culture of savings in Texas.
27.7% of Texas households are asset poor.
Yes.
What exactly does that mean?
That means when we look at what we call the income poverty rate, Texas has an income poverty rate of about 17%. That's just looking at your income. When you look at asset poverty, it's looking at kind of the range of assets that you may have, so that when there's a hard time, an emergency, you can actually tap into those assets. And so that near 28% asset poverty is basically saying that if an individual or a family were to lose their main source of income, about almost nearly a third of those individuals and families wouldn't have a cushion really to fall back on.
Well, Texas got a D grade as far as their assets and opportunity scorecard. How do we reverse this trend now?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. One is certainly public policy. We really need to do a better job in terms of helping individuals and families complete high school, complete college. But certainly we can build in public policy for college savings incentives, and we're doing something about that right now. We are also running a campaign called Texas Saves, which is texassaves.org. And individuals and families can go on there and really kind of create a savings plan for themselves going forward.
And that's important to note because this does have a trickle-down effect to our education and our health services as well. As a rule of thumb, what should a person put aside in a savings account?
Well, certainly it's going to depend on your situation. It's going to depend on the debts that you may have. But as people have always said, it's important to pay yourself first. And I would also say that it's really great that we're having this conversation now, because tax time is really the time to really kind of take stock of your finances and really make a plan for savings going forward in the year ahead.
And of course, we're dealing with tough economic times, and people have bad credit scores, and they're in debt, and home foreclosures, all problems that have come about in the last couple of years. Important to get ahead of the curve now. I
think that's right. And one of the numbers in the scorecard that's really surprising is that 2 out of every 3 Texans have a subprime credit score. And certainly that's something that we can improve on in the state of Texas if we really put our mind to it.
Great. Thank you very much for being with us.
Okay, thank you.